So thank you everyone for coming last minute. I know we kind of sprung this on you, but after the recent events of the last several days became very disturbing to us, we wanted to be able to get together and set the record straight since no one asked us for our side of the story. Yes! So thank you for coming. I am Marianne Pizzitola. I am accompanied today. Accompanied by members of all different unions from all different agencies from all over the city of New York that are retirees from the city of New York. We are the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees. We called this press conference today to condemn our former unions and stand up for the brave councilpersons that introduced legislation, Intro 1099, that would protect a retiree's access to traditional federal Medicare. Yeah! Councilman Barron, Shulman, Vernikov, Palladino, Areola, Lee, Marte, Hanif, Krishnan, Kagan, Aviles, Richardson Jordan, and introduced a two-sentence legislation that would protect us. Those two sentences, the first one requires the city of New York to provide a Medigap plan for our traditional Medicare. And the second sentence specifically states that this bill does not prevent any of our unions from collectively bargaining their benefits. On the same day, Assemblyman Ken Zimbrowski advised us that he is introducing legislation in New York State to which would protect all state workers. The Daily News reported that our former union leader, DC 37's Henry Garrido, threatened to withdraw support and donations to any elected official who supported our legislation, not because of the merits of the bill, but because our unions made a deal with the devil, and that was to trade away our Medicare benefits for their own enrichment. How are you? Mr. Garrido. How are you? Mr. Garrido then went on New York in Inside City Hall with Errol Louis to misrepresent and distort his actions, to misrepresent the facts of this case without any fact-checking from us or input from us. We wouldn't have needed Intro 1099 if our own union protected us like they were supposed to. Mr. Garrido then doubled down to defend his actions and went on New York One with Errol Louis, an anti-union media outlet, on a segment funded by Aetna, a non-union insurer. A non-union insurer with a history of insuring the lives of slaves and is under investigation by the DOJ for Medicare fraud, and to justify his actions of selling off retiree health care and putting us into a Medicare Advantage plan, privatizing Medicare. Mr. Garrido then smeared Mr. Barron, Councilman Barron, and these fine council members supporting the intro to defend the one benefit that retirees relied upon, Medicare. Joshua Freeman is a labor historian and an author, and he described Medicare as the single most important benefit that our unions helped create. And DC 37 is the largest union in the city of New York, the lowest paid workers and pensioners, and many of us living on the edge of poverty. We took jobs in the public sector because these jobs had the promise of pension and health care, including Medicare.
Promises made, promises kept.
Promises made, promises kept. Promises made, promises kept. Promises made, promises kept. Promises made, promises kept.
Joshua said, and now you can have it. And I quote, and now you can have it, or maybe you'll have to pay for it. People get really upset, he said. I thought I had a deal, and now suddenly the city, and maybe our own union leaders, are saying that we would have to pay for it. I am missing a page. Hold on. Page 4. They're all stuck together. And now they're telling me, no, I don't have this deal anymore, and I now have a different deal. We earned and paid for our health care benefits, and now we are sold off like cattle by our own former unions to enrich themselves. And that's why we needed Intro 1099 and the City Council to help us. Our unions were supposed to be about unity. Instead, they are about division. They are dividing themselves within the MLC, pitting one union against each other, and then pitting themselves against retired workers.
Shame, 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 shame.
Unfortunately, in the MLC, they have not only divided the unions and the retirees, but they did so to favor single union interests and bullied all of us to get what they wanted, something that real labor leaders would never have done.
Never do.
Retirees are not in unions. We do not collectively bargain, and we do not vote on union leaders or on their contracts. And this is why we have the City Council to protect us, like they always did, from greedy mayors. Except this time, they are also protecting us from our former unions. The one thing that he did talk about in the articles that came out over the weekend was that they needed to do this to finance the Health Insurance Stabilization Fund, and I want to make this crystal clear. That Health Insurance Stabilization Fund was set up for one reason and one reason only, and that fund was to provide for premium for active workers and under 65 retirees, not Medicare eligible retirees, our seniors and our disabled, the most vulnerable populations that we have. That fund will only provide a benefit to a retiree if they have a union and if they have a welfare fund, would provide them a vision, prescription, and dental plan. That is it. That fund has been misused, and we have been saying this for years. It has been misused by our former unions and the City of New York for enrichment. $1 billion was taken out of that health fund in 2014 to finance the teacher's contract and collective bargaining. The city has taken money out of that fund also to use for budget shortfalls. And now they want to say they have to do this to us because they misused money, and they've done this for years. With that, I am going to have Michelle Robbins, our secretary of our organization, speak, and then we will ask the council persons that are here to make a comment, and then we want our retirees from DC 37, as well as John from sanitation, thank you, to make their statements, and then we'll be glad to take any questions. Michelle.